Reverse lovesquare is something that has always been talked about in the fandom, but now even more since it's already confirmed with season 5. But because of this, a lot of people kinda don't get the right idea of reverse lovesquare or don't get the concept or why is it even happening in the first place. So today I am going to be explaining to you guys the importance of reverse lovesquare and why do we love it so much. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to start with why is reverse lovesquare so important? Well, because reverse lovesquare is actually what we need before a reveal and in general what will make Adrianette's relationship healthy. And a perfect example for this are the two post reveals that we have seen, Chat Blanc and Ephemeral. First of all, I'll go with Chat Blanc. The difference between these two is this. When Adrian found out Marinette's identity, something just didn't feel quite right. Because a lot of us had in our minds, did he love her because she's Marinette or Ladybug? Did he assume that right away? And even though he has always loved Marinette since the beginning, it still didn't feel quite right. Because at the time, Adrian didn't go on and explore his feelings towards Marinette. But Ephemeral, on the other hand, we saw Marinette actually trying to put together that Adrian and Chat Noir are the same person and also accepting it. And here we can see the big difference because in one, it didn't feel right, in another one, it was more explained. But again, why is it so important anyway? Well, because when they each fell in love with each other, when Marinette fell in love with Adrian and Chat Noir fell in love with Ladybug, they basically both fell in love with the high standards version of themselves, with the more secure, confident, and let's say perfect version of themselves. So it's basically the version that was very looked up to. I mean, it's a superhero and a model. Come on, bro. But still, even though they fell in love with it, and they actually did fall in love, they had a specific idea in their head of how they were. But how Plague said to Adrian in Kuroneko, you cannot have Adrian without Chat Noir, and you can't have Chat Noir without Adrian. And basically it's the same thing for both of them. You cannot love one side of them without loving the other. Like how you can't love someone's perfects if you don't love their imperfections as well. And this is exactly why we need reverse lovesquare. This is exactly the reason why it's so important, why we love it. Because it's basically going to be the perfect balance for them to have an actual healthy relationship. And not even a love square anymore, but just fully love each side, each perfects, each imperfections, and appreciate the person as a whole. But now, I put the reverse lovesquare in 3 stages. The in denial stage, the growth and acceptance, and the identify stage. I'm going to be talking about each one of these in this video. So, let's get started with the in denial stage. The in denial stage basically consists that even though you have feelings for one another, you will try to deny it, to ignore it, to avoid it, and especially to assume that it's something else. Like in the show, they assume that it's partnership or that it's just friendship, because let's say this is like their comfort zone when it comes to these feelings. Like this is where they will go and think that it is, trying to avoid it, trying to deny it. But of course, their feelings says otherwise. And this is when I am going to go with the second stage, which is the growth and acceptance stage. First, I'll talk about the growth. Growth in this sense means that even though they deny their feelings at some point get so much more stronger that even themselves notice that they are feeling something for this person. They just don't know what these feelings are. And I want to make a reference to something that will connect this and the in denial stage together. If you guys know the canon song from the show called The Wall Between Us, there is one lyric in this song that is from Adrian's point of view, which says that, and yet when I think of her, I feel unfaithful. I want to run away into the night to see my ladybug. My heart is in a duel. Which in here, of course, when it says when I think of her, it's referring to Marinette, meaning that Adrian's feelings towards Marinette have grown much stronger, that he himself notices that he's feeling something towards her. But he will try to escape from these feelings by running away towards Ladybug. Which now I want to bring the termination into this, because in the termination, Adrian says how back at the museum in Puppeteer 2, Adrian's feelings towards Marinette started to grow even more, that himself noticed that he was feeling something towards her. He just didn't know exactly why. And it's so crazy to me how they see the whole Puppeteer 2 situation so differently, because Marinette sees it as like a disastrous event and Adrian sees it like in the complete opposite way. Which, now that I think about it, remember when in season 3 Kagami was about to kiss Adrian and he stopped her from doing so, saying that he just thought that it will be different? I know that later, like, thinking about Ladybug, but what if he actually meant Marinette? Like, hold on, wait a damn miraculous minute. Hold on, like, y'all see the vision? But anyways, even though they try to say that they don't have any feelings for one another, the actions they make based on their feelings says a whole different thing. For example, even though Adrian will call Marinette just a friend, Adrian did things with Marinette that he didn't do with any of his friends. And the same thing happens with Ladybug. And I always use Glaciator as an example because in here, when Chat Noir kissed her cheek, she was literally blushing. After she rejected him and everything, when he kissed her cheek, she was literally blushing. Like, the creators made it sure that she blushes in this scene, basically confirming that yes, she's in love with him. And also in the beginning of season 1, of course, she saw Chat Noir as someone flirty or whatever, that someone unserious. But then as seasons go by, like season 3, season 4, that completely switched up and she saw him as something else. And also in Miraculous Secrets, she said how if there weren't any Adrian, she would have viewed Chat Noir differently. Meaning that if Adrian never gave her the umbrella, she would have fallen in love with Chat Noir first. Or, first of all, realized that she is in love with Chat Noir. But I'm going to talk about what I'm trying to say with this later. Now, let's go into the acceptance part. The acceptance part basically means that now you are actually trying to accept those feelings that you have for this person. And you may have noticed how in the beginning, in the denial stage, I didn't mention season 4. And this is because I consider season 4 the more acceptance stage part, because in here, especially with Adrian, we can see how, especially in Mr. Preacher 72, you can see how Adrian is accepting more of the feelings he has for Marinette. And it happens the same thing with Ladybug as well. But I will say hers will be like after Kuroneko and the finale, and especially season 5 before, like the episodes before the termination, which I really want to talk about right now. A big example of this will be Evolution with Ladybug, because in here, you guys know that even after everything she went through with season 4 of not confiding in Chat Noir, not trusting him because she was afraid of Chat Blanc, Evolution is such a development when it comes to that. This is like the biggest example of accepting feelings, because in here, Ladybug did something risky. She gave him the time miraculous. And you guys know this is very risky because he was the one who was about to delete all of the timelines. He was about to destroy all of them. So even knowing that he was about to do that, you must really trust him. You must really be sure that he won't do anything bad with that. And again, this is exactly why it's such a big development from season 4, because in here you can exactly see it, even in her face expressions, that even Chat Noir himself was shocked by this action. Another example of this with Ladybug would be Jubilation, because at the end of the episode, Ladybug's feelings towards Chat Noir have grown so much more that she herself realizes that there's something there and may even be trying to accept the fact that she could possibly be in love with him. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the last stage of the reverse love square, which is identify. The identify stage is basically the stage that they finally identify what the feelings are, what these feelings that have grown so much more, that they are starting to accept what they are. And this is basically what the whole determination episode is about. Them trying to identify the feelings that they have after all of this time of growth and acceptance. They finally realize, they finally get to know what this is. Something that I love about determination is the way they realize they're in love with each other, like the setting. Because when it came to Adrian, he was like in this bright place, he had a lot of lights, and it was like yellow, so it basically just said sunshine, right? Like very bright place. But when Marinette realized it, it was raining, she was crying, and that's how she realized she was in love with Chat Noir, which says a lot about their experiences with love. Also, another thing I want to point out, this doesn't mean that when they realize they're in love, they're just gonna accept the fact right away. Like, for example, with Marinette over here and Passion, we can see how she may like say some stuff to Chat Noir, like in a super flirty way and stuff, that she herself is like confused on what she's saying. She's like, wait a minute, what am I saying? Because she's still trying to accept the fact that she's in love with him. Because, of course, it takes some time to process that you are actually in love with this person. So, no, they didn't just randomly fall in love with the other side of each other in the middle of season 5, but actually realized that what they were feeling is love. But they were too blinded to see this before in the past, because of the other feelings they had. But now that they're trying to avoid these feelings, they can go ahead and explore those other feelings they always had in there since the beginning. Now, there's something else I want to talk about that is determination that a lot of people don't seem to talk about much, but I think this actually is really important. Basically, you guys know how in determination, Marinette was trying her best to avoid Adrian, but when they finally get to talk, okay, hear me out. This dialogue is really important to me. Like, since the moment I watched it, I was like, this is potential for Adrian development. And I want to talk about this before Kwamis Choice airs on Monday, so yeah. I find this dialogue really important because this is the moment when they can finally communicate their feelings, because they haven't done that much in season 5 when it comes to Adrian and Marinette. So I find this really important because in here Marinette can actually get to tell Adrian the reason why she's been avoiding him, which she says that every time she gets close to him, she makes disasters, which we know that in here she's referring to the events of Strike Back, because she blames herself and her love for Adrian for the outcome of these events. But how Alia told her in multiplication, what happened in there, it's something that you just can't control. It's a situation that you just can't control. Because the problem of Marinette is that she has a very low self-esteem. She doesn't really appreciate herself that much and give herself the enough recognition of things that she has done. This is exactly where Adrian can help her, because we actually already seen this when they are Ladybug and Chat Noir. When Ladybug, she's feeling down and needs support, Chat Noir is right there to give her support and remind her who she is, how strong she actually is, and give her all the support she needs to go up and be in battle once again and be more confident. Now, we can see a situation like this, but with Adrianette. And this is kind of what happened in this dialogue. Basically, Marinette was like, I wish I could tell you everything, and Adrian was like, you can tell me everything, you can tell me anything you want, and something like that. And I feel like, I swear, if the villain didn't interrupt them, she will have actually maybe indirectly told him something. Like, what my point is that if we see more of this dynamic where she's actually telling him what's going on, what she's feeling, and he tells her what he is feeling, this dynamic over here is what could lead to some Adrianette development before they get together. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm actually planning to make a part 2 soon, so stay tuned because I'm not done talking about reverse love square. Anyways, what do you guys think? This maybe clicked something in your head for some people who didn't exactly understand the concept and the reasoning of this, because of course reverse love square is needed for a healthy relationship so that they can love each version of themselves, each like perfection, each imperfection, and just love them as a whole. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Have a miraculous day. Bye!